The world is home to destinies that defy the laws of biology. These 10 life journeys, marked by resilience in the face of rare conditions, invite us to rethink our vision of human strength and self-acceptance. Number 10. Carly Enroth. Resilience in the face of petrification. Carly Enroth, living in Missouri, is one of the rare faces of fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, FOP, a genetic pathology of extreme rarity affecting approximately 1 in 2 million people. This disorder, often described as Stoneman syndrome, possesses a terrifying biological mechanism. It commands the body to transform soft tissues, muscles, tendons, and ligaments into solid bone. This process does not merely add bone mass, it creates a true second skeleton that overlays the first, progressively imprisoning the patient in an immutable biological armor. For Carly, the progression of the disease has been marked by physical and psychological trials. Her shoulders, neck, and jaw were the first to undergo this metamorphosis, radically limiting her ability to move, eat normally, or even speak without effort. Yet, where many would see a condemnation to total immobility, Carly found a voice. She uses digital platforms not to elicit pity, but to educate the world about the rarity of her condition. She documents her daily life with surgical precision and disarming optimism, transforming her body, which is becoming a living statue, into a tool for global awareness. Her professional testimony highlights a fundamental truth. Though the body may be shackled by genetics, the spirit can remain absolutely free, using technology to break down the walls of physical isolation. Number 9. Bablu Pashi. Endurance in the face of localized gigantism. Bablu Pashi represents one of the most documented and impressive medical cases in India. Suffering from a severe form of localized gigantism, his right arm has experienced disproportionate and uncontrolled growth since birth. In adulthood, this limb reached a staggering weight of nearly 20 kilograms. This malformation is not just an aesthetic challenge. It represents a constant physical burden that alters his posture, deforms his spine, and causes chronic neuropathic pain. Every movement, even the simplest such as walking or sitting, requires a Herculean physical effort from Bablu to compensate for this permanent imbalance. In his home community, Bablu was long confronted with misunderstanding and social stigma, barriers sometimes more difficult to overcome than the disability itself. However, his resilience pushed him to leave his village to seek answers in India's major metropolises, hoping a surgeon could lighten his burden. His journey is not motivated by a quest for media notoriety, but by a deep aspiration for dignity and a functional existence. By actively seeking complex medical solutions, Bablu demonstrates an iron will not to be defined by his condition, but by his desire for social reintegration. His perseverance recalls the importance of access to care in developing countries and the strength of a man who refuses to let his anatomy dictate his place in society. Number 8. Wiyang Bunme. Dignity beyond appearance. Wiyang Bunme, a woman living in Bangkok, has become an international symbol of quiet strength in the face of neurofibromatosis type 1. This genetic disease caused a proliferation of massive facial tumors in her, which over time completely erased her original features. Unlike many people in her situation who might choose to live in withdrawal or depend on charity, Wiyang made a radical choice, that of independence and visibility. Every day, she sits in the busy streets of the capital to sell accessories, providing for her family's needs with exemplary pride. What makes Wu Yang's journey particularly remarkable is her reaction to offers of free surgery from international foundations. She declined these interventions, expressing a prudent distrust of surgical risks and affirming a total acceptance of her current image. For her, inner peace and general health take precedence over conformity to the beauty standards imposed by modern society. Her professional posture and her refusal to consider herself a victim make her a living lesson in human dignity. She proves that true beauty and self-respect do not depend on the symmetry of the face, but on the ability to lead an autonomous life in accordance with one's own values, despite a profoundly altered physique. Number 7. Muhammad Latif Khatana. Family responsibility in the face of isolation. In the isolated mountains of Jammu and Kashmir, Muhammad Latif Khatana leads an existence marked by an extreme form of neurofibromatosis. The tumors covering his face are so imposing that they have not only concealed his features, but have also taken his sight, plunging him into a world of physical darkness. This condition placed him in a situation of deep economic and social vulnerability, often forcing him to depend on the help of others to survive. Yet, behind this appearance, which might frighten the uninitiated, lies a man driven by an exceptional sense of family duty. Muhammad places the well-being of his wife and daughter at the center of all his concerns. His daughter, born healthy, is his greatest source of joy and motivation. Despite his blindness and the pain related to his tumors, he strives to be an emotional pillar for his loved ones. His existence is a powerful testimony to the persistence of human identity beyond the senses and appearance. He embodies the idea that an individual's value lies not in what they project to the world, but in the depth of their soul and their ability to maintain bonds of affection and responsibility despite the most total adversity. His life is a reminder that love and duty are forces that transcend the heaviest biological barriers. Number 6. Winnie Harlow, the revolution of beauty standards. Winnie Harlow accomplished what many considered impossible, transforming vitiligo, a skin depigmentation condition, into a symbol of global high fashion. Having grown up under taunts and school bullying, where she was cruelly compared to animals, she could have chosen to hide behind covering makeup. Instead, she made the bold decision to make her skin her armor and her signature. By imposing herself on the most prestigious runways, she broke the rigid beauty codes that had dominated the fashion industry for decades. Her professional ascent is a true cultural revolution. Winnie Harlow is not just a model, she is a global educator who uses her notoriety to destigmatize pigmentary differences. She has proven that what society initially perceives as an imperfection can become a unique and powerful aesthetic asset. Her success has opened the door to unprecedented diversity in the media, encouraging millions of people around the world to embrace their singularity. She perfectly illustrates how resilience can transform into influential leadership, capable of modifying the collective perception of beauty and promoting a culture of inclusion and radical authenticity. Number 5. Louise Wedderburn, the creative spirit in the face of physical rigidity. Louise Wedderburn, originally from Scotland, is another fascinating example of determination in the face of fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, FOP. Diagnosed at the age of 3, she has seen her body transform into a rigid structure over the years. Her joints locked one by one, forcing her to adopt fixed postures and limiting her movements to the strict minimum. Yet, Louise refused to let this biological petrification extinguish her passion for fashion and styling. Nicknamed the living mannequin, she defied her condition by actively participating in major events like London Fashion Week. Louise's engagement in the fashion world is a declaration of creative independence. Although her body is physically constrained, her spirit remains focused on innovation and elegance. She uses her visibility to show that disability should not be a brake on artistic expression or professional ambition. By documenting her journey and her challenges, she offers a unique perspective on the importance of accessibility in creative industries. Louise embodies the resistance of intelligence and passion against physical degeneration, demonstrating that a person's presence and charisma are not linked to their mobility, but to the strength of their character and the clarity of their vision. Number 4. Pan, courage in the face of severe ichthyosis. Young Pan, living in a remote village, faces every day the challenges of ichthyosis, a rare skin disease that transforms the epidermis into a dry, cracked, and rigid surface, visually resembling the scales of a reptile. For Pan, every movement is a source of physical tension, as his skin lacks the necessary elasticity to accompany the simplest gestures. This condition requires rigorous daily discipline, involving constant care to avoid infections and the pain associated with skin fissures. Despite the severity of his state, Pan shows a maturity and strength of character that command respect. Far from isolating himself, he faces the gaze of others with an astonishing serenity for his age. His journey is an invitation to reflect on juvenile resilience and the human capacity for adaptation in the face of chronic suffering. Pan does not let himself be defined by his dermatological pathology. He seeks to flourish like any child, proving that the will to live and integrate is stronger than any biological barrier. His story is a poignant reminder of the fragility of the human condition, but also of the incredible tenacity of the spirit that seeks to shine despite a painful physical envelope. Number 3. Richard Norris, reconstruction after trauma. Richard Norris's story is one of an unprecedented technological and psychological rebirth. After a devastating accident in 1997 that caused him to lose almost his entire face, Richard spent 15 years in near-total seclusion, only going out at night to avoid stares. This period of deep solitude was a test of mental strength for him, forcing him to find an inner dignity independent of his external appearance. In 2012, he benefited from a historic face transplant, one of the most complex ever performed, at the University of Maryland Medical Center. This pioneering surgical intervention not only restored his vital biological functions, such as the ability to eat and speak normally, but above all, it gave him back a social identity. Today, Richard uses his experience to raise awareness about organ donation and to show the incredible potential of reconstructive medicine. His journey symbolizes the victory of science allied with human perseverance. It serves as a reminder that even after the darkest traumas and the longest periods of despair, reconstruction is possible. Richard Norris is living proof that human dignity is the central core of identity, capable of resurfacing and flourishing again thanks to innovation and personal courage. Number 2. Dana Voulin, the triumph of will over tragedy. Dana Voulin, an Australian citizen, saw her life turned upside down following a criminal assault of incredible violence that left her with third-degree burns over more than 60% of her body. For years, she had to wear a strict compression mask to promote the healing of her tissues, becoming in the eyes of the public the woman without a face. Yet, Dana refused to let this act of cruelty define the rest of her existence. The day she removed her mask in public, she sent a message of power and rebirth to the entire world. Today, Dana has transformed her scars into symbols of victory. She has become an inspiring speaker, using her platform to encourage the reconstruction of self-esteem after extreme trials. Her journey demonstrates that true beauty does not reside in flawless skin, but in the ability to walk through the flames of adversity and emerge with unwavering pride. Dana embodies the concept of post-traumatic growth, proving that the human spirit possesses a capacity for regeneration that far exceeds biological healing capacities. Her leadership and strength of character are a source of hope for all victims of physical and psychological trauma. Number 1. Joanna Vinuk, a global voice for inclusion. Joanna Vinuk, also known by the name Joanne Smith, is an intellectual figure who has transcended her physical limitations to become an influential voice on the international stage, notably with the United Nations. Born with major morphological differences, she refused the reductive labels of society to impose herself through the strength of her intellect and her strategic vision. She has transformed her lived experience into precious expertise at the intersection of technology, social innovation, and human rights. Her professional interventions emphasize the infinite potential of the human spirit when architectural and social barriers are lifted. Joanne perfectly illustrates the idea that intellectual excellence is the true engine of progress. By defending inclusion and human dignity at the highest level, she proves that an individual's value is measured by their contribution to collective thought and their ability to positively influence the course of history. She remains a model of leadership, reminding everyone that when the will finds its voice, no biological condition can prevent a human being from reaching the heights of influence and global respect. Number 11. Moments of unexpected cases. This video pays tribute to human resilience through extraordinary life journeys. We follow individuals who, despite immense personal challenges, choose every day to move forward with dignity and hope. This narrative is a true invitation to empathy and mutual understanding. By focusing on inner strength rather than appearances, we discover what it truly means to overcome adversity. An essential message of solidarity to build a more inclusive and respectful world for everyone. These stories testify to the incredible capacity for adaptation of the human spirit. By exceeding the limits of their own bodies, these individuals remind us that dignity and will are the true engines of our existence. Thank you for your attention.